I,
This meeting is being recorded.
I think I'm sharing my screen.
You are.
Yes, you are.
Excellent. As we say every week, California is a two-party state, which means one cannot record a meeting or a phone call unless the participants all agree. So if you don't want to be recorded, we ask that you exit. So I probably should have had these pictures come in as build slides, but I didn't. So I always like to put a couple of images on page one that, you know, either are funny and or helpful. And I think these are actually surprisingly helpful. You know, if you're playing defense on basketball, you stay between the person you're guarding and the basket with your knees bent. It's just what you do. You always do it. And if you don't do it, you wish you had. And kind of the same thing in the outfield in baseball. You know, you don't, well, when I was a kid, I did just catch it with one hand glove. You want to squeeze the ball into the glove to make sure you actually catch it. And if you follow these basic principles, your defense is better. So what we're going to talk about today are some basic principles of defense in bridge. But first, I think we should exalt. Let's take a look at what we've done. Everybody in this meeting can play social bridge and have fun doing it. Are there times when you don't know what to do and have no idea what's best? Well,
Yep.
Me too. And I claim that if you can consistently employ all the declarer play and opening lead stuff we've discussed, you would consistently score well in 0 to 499 master point duplicate bridge games. That's how much we've learned. It's really remarkable. Now there's some caveats there. You know, can you consistently employ them? I don't know. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But that's without today's talk on defense, and that's without even starting on bidding yet. So this is how important card play is and how fun it is. And I'm just thrilled that everybody in this meeting can play social bridge and have fun doing it. Okay. Good defense starts with guidelines like we had on the cover page. And so, you know, when you're first starting to play baseball, somebody says, you know, don't catch the ball with one hand, squeeze the ball with two hands. And you're kind of going like, what? What does that mean? How do I do that? And then eventually you realize that it's just a good guideline and you try to follow it. You try to remember to do it. And then eventually what happens is it just becomes a habit and you don't even really have to think. It just kind of happens. So this is going to be our approach to defense. Today, we're going to talk about some guidelines that are usually right. There's no always in bridge. There's no never in bridge. So we're going to talk about guidelines that are almost always right. And that'll help us build good habits. It won't happen instantly, but that's our plan. Everybody on board?
Yes.
Okie doke. So habit number one, I'm not going to go through this busy slide, but we've talked about opening lead agreements. Habit number one is stick to them. It's actually really important because then partner can count on you and partner can draw inferences. You lead an ace against a suit contract. Oh, you have a king. You lead the 5 of spades against a no trump contract. Oh, it's fourth from your longest and strongest. Partner has bid hearts and you lead the queen of hearts. You're either leading from queen jack or a queen doubleton. Partner needs to be able to count on you for these things. So I think Martha sent this sheet out and just give it a look. You know, set it by your bed every morning, reread it before you go get coffee. So let's talk a little about guidelines, like I before E, except after C, or when sounded as A, as in neighbor and way. So guidelines don't work 100% of the time, but they usually work. And more importantly for us, they provide comfort. So instead of agonizing over every single card to play on defense, you say, oh, I'm the second person to play to this trick. That's called second hand. And I'm just going to play low because 90% of the time, that's what I should do. And guidelines reduce your mental burden. So these are really important reasons to follow the defensive guidelines. But also defense is all about partnership. And you have to know what partner's doing, and you have to trust what partner is doing. Just like the leading an ace from ace king, if you lead that ace, partner's going to know that you've got the king. If you lead the queen against a suit contract, partner's going to know you have the jack, unless maybe it was our suit. So good habits are the key. You want to just build these habits and follow them all the time. Okay, so here's the first habit that we want to develop. When you're playing second to a trick on defense, that's called second hand, you want to play low. So we want to play second hand low on defense. And I hear my mom's voice in my ear saying second hand low. There's no always in bridge, but it's really close. So let's take a look at an example. So you're sitting over here on defense, and dummy has the queen and a couple of cards in whatever suit declarer leads. And declarer leads a little tiny card. What do you do? And the answer is play low. 99% of the time, that's the right thing to do. You could sit there, and think through the whole thing. You could sit there and think, well, let's see, what if that's a singleton? Don't I need to jump up and take my ace? Oh, well, wait a minute. If that's a singleton, then partner has the king. So I don't need to jump up. But that's too hard, right? It's too much mental effort.
Move over.
If there's
Sandra, you need to mute yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't see where the sound came from. Anyway,
I'm muted, I think. Well,
No,
not
you're
right
not.
now.
no, you're not, because we hear you. What was the name?
Sandra.
Sandra,
Sandra?
I'm talking right now, but when I hit mute, I should be muted.
Yes, you're muted now.
Okay. All righty. So anyway, declarer plays a small card, and you just play a small card. You don't think, you just play a small card. Well, why? Well, maybe this is the full suit. So let's think about it a little bit. What happens if you jump up with the ace? You'll win your ace, but then declarer is going to win the king and the queen. And what happens if you stick in the jack? Well, declarer is going to win the queen, and then declarer has the king 10. And you can get your ace, but if you play the ace or the jack, declarer is going to win 2 tricks. But if you play low, declarer is only going to win 1 trick. Should I do that annotation thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so declarer leads this. If you jump up with the ace, now declarer has the king and the queen, right? And declarer wins 2 tricks.
Yeah.
Suppose you stick in the jack. Declarer is going to play the queen and win the trick. And now declarer has the king 10, which are solid. You can take your ace, but he's going to get the other one, 2 tricks. Let's see what happens if instead you play small. Declarer leads, you play small, queen wins the trick. But at some point, somebody's going to lead this suit, and it's going to come through declarer. And I should have put the jaws over here, right? Where's my crocodile when I need it? Here's your ace jack sitting over the king 10. So when this lead comes through, whatever declarer plays, you're going to win 2 tricks. So if you play low, you get 1 more trick than if you don't. Questions about that? One of the phrases my mom used to use was, you don't want your ace to fall on air. And another term she used was, aces are for taking kings with. So when somebody leads small in this situation, you just play small. And that's this piece of guideline. Questions? And this removes a ton of mental energy and mental burden. And it's almost always the right thing to do. So just trust it. The other point about this is, you want to do it what's called in tempo. You don't want to hesitate. So declarer leads a card and you just play your little card. You don't sit there and think, you just low, low. And why is that important in this situation? Well, suppose the whole suit looks like this. You need to give declarer a chance to make a mistake. If she plays the jack, now you're going to win the queen and later the ace. But suppose you hesitate and think about it. Suppose you had the queen. Would you ever think about playing the queen in front of the king jack? Well, no, that would solve declarer's problem. So if you hesitate, declarer knows you're thinking.
And she knows what you've got.
And she knows you're thinking about whether to play your ace, because you would never think about whether to play the queen. So I don't know, maybe I should have put an intermediate up here in the corner on this one. But the answer or the theme here is, second hand low, just play low. Do it in tempo, without hesitating, without thinking. It's the right thing to do almost every time.
Hey, Phil,
Yeah.
we call that, when you hesitate, we call that tipping your hand.
Exactly. Yeah, you tip your hand.
But
You tell
this
them,
is,
go ahead.
this is only when declarer is leading low.
Yes. And if declarer led low from dummy and you were sitting over here, you'd play low. Okay, so if you're in the second seat, you play low.
Oh, okay.
We good with
Well,
that? Yep.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you respond to your partner playing and you do, if you only have a Doubleton and you do the higher one, that's because you're responding to your partner. So this one, you're not
Correct.
responding to your partner, so it doesn't matter if you have a Doubleton.
Correct. We usually use the word responding in the context of bidding. And I think what you're talking about is when you're following suit to a trick that partner has led versus a suit that declarer has led. If partner leads the suit, are you ever in second seat?
No.
No,
No.
you're in third seat, whole nother ballgame. When declarer leads from her hand or from dummy, if they lead small, play small. It's right 90-some% of the time. And you'll eventually learn to recognize the situations where you want to do something different. Now, we were talking here about when declarer leads a small card. If declarer leads an honor, you want to cover an honor with an honor. And let me show you what I mean. You're in the middle of the hand. Dummy's got these cards in this suit. You have the king and another one, and declarer leads the queen. Usually you play second hand low. But if declarer leads an honor, you should cover it. And let's take a look at why. So suppose this is the full suit. What happens if you let the queen go? And now declarer is going to play another one, right? Declarer knows you've got the king. And now you play your king and declarer captures it. And now declare plays the jack and your partner's 10 falls and declare takes all 5 tricks. Ugh. Let's see what's different if you cover the honor. Queen, king, ace, small. Well, now declare can play the jack, but you established your partner's 10. The 10 is now high. So by covering the honor with an honor, we promoted a card that was in partner's hand. And again, there's no always, but this is usually right. Questions about that? Let me elaborate a little bit. Here's the way I look at it. As soon as declarer leads the queen, you know what's going to happen, right? They're going to finesse. And your king is clearly dead. Declare is going to let the queen ride. And then declare is going to still be in her hand and is going to lead toward the ace jack, and your king's going to fall. So your king is dead. You might as well kill the queen with it. That's how I look at it.
This is
And-
very violent.
It is. It is. Now, my dad was less violent. As he played his king, he would always say, not through the iron duke, which is some kind of an old bridge saying that I don't understand. And if I'd attended the coronation, you know, maybe I would have learned something over there, but I digress. So we want to play second hand low, but we want to cover an honor with an honor. So if with a different holding, declare leads the jack and you've got the queen, you'd cover it. And again, there's no always, but these are usually right. Here's a cool one that comes to Karen's question.
And when
When you're in third, Karen's topic, when you're in third seat, partner has led a suit. If you have touching cards, you want to play the lowest one. Well, what the heck does that mean? So this is, say, partner's opening lead on the hand, and partner leads a small card, and dummy plays a small card, and this is your holding, queen, jack, 10. What you want to do is play the 10. You don't want to play the 10 sometimes, and the queen sometimes, and the jack sometimes. You want to play the 10 100% of the time. And the reason is, this can actually help you communicate with partner. Let's look at a very typical example that happens here. Suppose partner had the king and 3 little ones. And dummy comes down with 3 little. You don't know what partner has, but partner leads a little one. Dummy comes down with 3 little ones. Dummy plays small, and then you play the 10. And let's suppose that declarer wins the trick with the ace. What can partner tell at this point? Does declarer have the jack? Oh, no. Why would declarer have spent the ace if she had the jack?
Or the queen.
And she doesn't have the queen either. She would have played the jack or the queen if she could have. So partner just learned that you have the jack and the queen. And later in the hand, if she gets in, she should keep attacking this suit. It's a place where you guys have strength. Isn't that cool?
And,
Yeah,
and
question.
Phil?
Yeah.
When you say lowest of touching cards, are you talking about only touching honors or?
Great question. Super question. No, any cards. Any cards.
Oh, so
if you-
8, 7, 6?
Yeah, 8, 7, 6, play the 6.
Oh, okay.
You know, maybe partner has the jack and, you know, maybe partner has the 10 and can learn something from what he sees.
So Phil, in this case, if everybody's following the guidelines.
Yeah.
By you playing the 10, your partner
Yeah.
should have known just from that you had the queen jack.
when the ace appears, partner knows you have the queen jack, because it would be really foolish for declarer to not take this trick with the queen or the jack.
No, but just from what I was asking about is if
Uh-huh.
you're following the guidelines and you played the 10, doesn't that mean that that's the lowest of 3 touching cards?
No, I mean, you could, I mean, maybe your hand over here is the 10 and the 3. You know, you'd still play the 10, but then declarer is going to win it with the jack.
Okay.
So partner can't really tell what's going on until declarer plays her card. But you want to play the 10 100% of the time, because you want to give partner a chance to learn from what declarer does.
Phil,
You
is
know?
it always 3 cards or it
No,
can it be 2
No,
touching?
could have been,
Could Be a 2 or a 3 card
yeah, yeah.
or a 4
If-
card.
yeah.
I haven't touched
Yeah.
anything.
If you didn't have the 10, then you would play the jack.
As Audrey Grant calls this very thing, you play only as high as necessary.
Excellent. And if you didn't have the queen, you would play the 10.
Yep.
And then declarer would win the queen. And that's the way it goes. But you do your best to take the trick, but as Audrey Grant said, you play only as high as necessary. So those are great questions. You know, I
And
usually have a
also- Sorry,
question. Yeah.
I just remembered that Barbara Seagram of the 25 mini books says you win, you lead from the top, you win from the bottom. Sometimes you're going to win a trick with that 10.
Yeah, I
So
love
you
it.
lead from the top, and she had people saying that in cadence, like 100 people. Lead from the top, win from the bottom. Yeah, or it's the same as only as high as necessary, or exactly what Phil is saying here. Lowest of touching cards.
So play the low, and if you had the queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, you play the 8.
Yep.
Dana and I played a hand the other day. I had the queen, jack, 9, 8, 7, and dummy had the 10 and played small. I had queen, jack, 9, 8, 7, and the 10 was in dummy. I played the 7
Mhm.
and it forced out the king. And so, or forced out the ace. And so partner kind of knows where all those other cards are. And the hardest thing on defense is you can only see your own hand, right? When you're declarer, you get to see 26 cards. But when you're on defense, you only get to see 13. So your partner is trying to tell you things in the play of the hand. And, you know, you build the habits first. And then over time, you learn to draw the inferences from them. But if you don't have the habits, you and your partner will never be able to draw the inferences. So let's look at a second example of playing the lowest of touching cards in third seat. So partner leads a small card. Dummy comes down with 3 small, and you have the queen and 2 others. Well, you try to take the trick. There's an old expression, third hand high, that I won't say in this, but I probably should. So you play the queen to try to take the trick. So here's what partner sees. He led from the king, 10, and a couple small. Dummy has 3 small, and you played the queen, and declarer took the ace. Where's the jack?
With the declarer,
With the declarer. Why?
because if you're starting with the lowest card that you have,
If you had the jack, you would have played it.
Right.
Okay, so now we know that the jack is sitting over here somewhere. And suppose declarer has another little one to go with it. Positional, positional value is like so he had ace, jack, 5, and he played the ace. The positional value is the coolest thing in bridge. Suppose partner gets in. Can partner continue this suit? No. If he plays the king, he's going to set up the jack. So partner knows that declarer has the jack, and partner knows that he has to wait for you to lead this suit through declarer so that his jaws can capture the jack. Is that cool or what?
Yep.
It's totally cool.
Totally cool.
So there's two parts to this slide. One is you play the queen, and the other is partner infers that declarer has the jack, and then partner realizes that she can't continue the suit on her own. She has to wait for you to lead it. The habit we can build today. Realizing that declarer has the jack, we're pretty close to that today, right?
Yeah, but we don't know that declarer has the jack. Our partner does.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was putting myself in partner's seat. Thank you very much. So from partner's perspective, we can learn to play the queen when we don't have the jack. Will partner recognize we don't have the jack after today? 70% of the time. Will partner realize that this is a dangerous suit for her to lead? 20% of the time. In 3 months, will partner realize that this is a dangerous suit to lead? 80% of the time. That's what happens with your defense. It just kind of builds. So these guidelines, they're like simple, but and they open the door to all the defense, which is much harder. Let me pause for a minute. Questions, comments? Okay, let me make sure the annotator's turned off. Whoops, got to figure out how to clear that. Unless we like it down there. Okay, so let's take a breath. What did we talk about so far? Second hand low in tempo.
Bring an honor with an honor.
Do you think we can remember that 80% of the time?
Yes.
Great. You just became better than a lot of people on defense. Cover an honor with an honor. Can we remember that?
Yes.
70% of the time. You just became even better. And in third seat, play the lowest of touching cards. Can we remember that?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because you spend so much time talking about leading the top of a sequence. But remember those, real bridge teachers, Barbara Seagram and Audrey Grant, who are saying in third seat, just play as high as you need to. Or in third seat, try to win it low. So play the lowest of touching cards. After today, can you explain why? Absolutely not.
Okay.
After today, can you remember these? Maybe.
Yeah.
But if you repeat, you will remember and you'll build the habit. And that's what it's all about. Keeping your knees bent, staying between the player and the basket, squeezing the ball. That's all it is. That's all it is. My favorite topic, positional value. And I think this is the last item for today. There's a 4A and a 4B. So let's imagine we're in the middle of a hand. Spades or trump. Declarer has called trump, and you're on lead. And you don't have any other information about anything. Maybe the club suit's all gone. Lacking any other information about partner's hand, do you want to lead a heart or do you want to lead a diamond?
Heart.
Suppose,
Heart.
suppose partner has the king jack of hearts. Partner's got the jaws ready to chomp on this. Right? What if partner has like the queen of diamonds or the king jack of diamonds? Who's got the jaws to chomp on partner? Declarer does. So whatever high cards they have in diamonds are down here in declarer's hand. And if you lead a diamond, whatever partner has is going to get trapped.
Like that.
But this way, if you lead through dummy's strength, maybe partner has the jaws behind dummy. And, you know, maybe declarer has the king and the jack and there's nothing you can do. But what you want to do, this is all about positional value. You like to lead through holdings that have spaces, hoping partners got the cards that go in the spaces. If partner has any, let me say it again, if partner has any diamond honors, then declarer gets to play fourth to the trick. And you've given declarer what we call a free finesse, right? We like to play fourth to a trick, right?
Yes.
Because we see the other three cards and we know what we should play. We don't want to give declarer the chance to play fourth to a diamond trick. So we're going to lead, as my mom would say, we're going to lead through dummy's strength, hoping that partner has something. We good with that? And I heard some people say lead a diamond, some people say lead a heart.
Yeah.
I hope your takeaway here will be that you want to lead through dummy's strength, hoping partner has something useful. We good with that?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Phil, that is if there's been no bidding that you can depend on, that you know that partner's got a suit that.
Absolutely. Great point, Patty. If partner has shown a ton of strength in diamonds, well, you probably would have led diamonds at the start of the hand, but you'd clearly lead. If there's a suit you know partner likes, you'll lead that suit. Absolutely, 100%. I like that.
Bill, you couldn't do this on opening lead because the dummy hasn't put the cards down.
That's correct. That's
So
that's a
this ends after the play has started.
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely super important comment. And opening lead is so hard because you can't see dummy yet. And, you know, sometimes you make an opening lead and dummy comes down and you go, oh, yeah, I could have had a V8, you know, or whatever your favorite expression is. But once dummy's down there, you can look at it and make some different decisions. That's why opening lead is so hard. And that's why on opening lead, you know, if we have queen, jack 10, we love leading the queen because we're not going to help declarer somehow. Great question. Okay, so the flip side of this one is now we're on the other side. We're in the middle of a hand. Spades are trump. Declarer has called trump, and you happen to be sitting over here on lead as east. Okay, so you're looking at this dummy that's going to be the fourth one to play to the trick that you lead. Would you lead a heart or would you lead a diamond? What's going to happen if you lead a heart? Well, whatever partner has is going to get trapped. Right? If partner has the king jack, you're giving declarer a free finesse. So in this situation, what if you lead a diamond? Declarer plays something and partner looks over at dummy and says, dummy doesn't scare me. Dummy's got nothing. So whatever declarer plays, partner can beat it. So partner's diamond cards are behind declarer. Partner plays after declarer. And the key thing is that dummy's diamonds are, whoops, dummy's diamonds are all small. So you love leading the diamond suit because whatever declarer plays, partner can choose exactly the right card because dummy can't beat them. We like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Partner might have jaws in diamonds, but dummy's got the jaws in hearts. So if partner has any heart honors and you lead a heart, you just killed partner's honors. But if partner has any honors in diamond, you just finesse declarer. So there's rhymes for these. I like lead through dummy's strength and up to dummy's weakness or around to dummy's weakness. And I like that because I heard my mom say them 1,000 times each.
Phil, do these rules apply to both the suit contract and no trump?
Yes. Short answer is yes.
Good, thank you.
Short answer is yes. Thank you. Good question. So real bridge teachers, everything is a rhyme, right? 8 ever, 9 never, everything's a rhyme. So somehow they've made this into a rhyme. So if you're sitting at a physical bridge table and dummy's on your left, so imagine you're sitting at a table and dummy's on your left, so you're leading through dummy. If dummy's on your left, lead through heft. And if dummy's on your right, lead the weakest suit in sight. And those have way too many words for me, but it's the modern way of teaching it. So,
May I ask why you ignored clubs? If clubs would be.
oh, I was just imagining clubs were all gone. I was just trying to give it a simple choice between two suits. Great question. Great question. So yeah, I mean, if it'd been 4-3-2 of diamonds and 4-3 of clubs, I would have said over here, lead a heart. And if it'd been 4-3-2 of diamonds and 4-3 of clubs, I would have said lead a diamond or a club, whichever seems better based on the bidding and the cards played so far. Excellent question. Thank you. So over here, you lead a heart through dummy's strength, hoping that partner can capture something. And if you lead a diamond, you're putting partner's honors on the chopping block. And over here, you want to lead a diamond toward the weakness because whatever declarer plays, your partner has the chance to put it on the chopping block. So if you like rhymes, if dummy's on your left, lead through heft. And if dummy's on your right, lead the weakest thing in sight. Are these things you've heard before?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to show an example of giving away a trick to declarer. And the reason I want to show it is that defenders often give away a trick. In other words, they let declarer take a trick she couldn't get on her own. Bob, when you're defending, does this ever happen to you? Yeah. Deborah,
Yes.
when you're defending, does this ever happen to you?
Oh,
Yes. Yeah. We want to avoid this. Inevitably, we'll give away tricks on defense, but we really want to avoid it. Here's an example. So let's get oriented a bit. I don't want to go through the bidding and everything, but North-South end up playing in a 3-club contract. So let's take a look at the diamond suit. What do you think is going to happen in the diamond suit?
Boston Celtics.
How many tricks should the defenders, East-West, how many tricks should they take in diamonds?
Celtics.
Or
Well, let's imagine it's a club contract, so they're going to start trumping your diamonds eventually.
Yeah.
But you should be able to take 2 tricks in diamonds, right? You're gonna wait for somebody to lead a diamond, and declare is going to play small, and you're going to win the 9, and then later you're going to win the ace, right? Or maybe declare goes up with the king, and you're going to win the ace, and then you're going to win the queen. So it looks like the defense should get 2 diamond tricks. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Looks like West has 2 sure tricks in diamonds. What happens if West leads a diamond at any point in the hand before the suit has been started? What happens if West plays the ace of diamonds? How many tricks does West get in diamonds? 1, not 2. How many, if suppose West leads the queen of diamonds, how many tricks does West get in diamonds? 1, not 2.
Why is that?
Because let's take a look.
North only has 2.
If you lead the queen of diamonds, it's going to go small, small, and South is going to win the king. And then later, yeah, you can win 1 diamond trick later, but then dummy's out and they're going to trump them.
Right.
So if West ever starts this suit, if West ever starts that suit, if West ever leads a diamond, any diamond, one of her sure diamond tricks vanishes. So this is a good example of giving away a trick on defense. That's why on defense, that's why we would not lead the ace of diamonds.
Celtics.
And that's why we would not, remember the ace of diamonds is unsupported. It doesn't have the king. So we would not lead the ace of diamonds, and we would not lead a small diamond.
So we've got to essentially wait for East to lead diamonds in order for us to capitalize.
That's exactly correct. We have to
Sure.
wait. We have to be patient.
Wait,
Well,
I'm
I
sorry, I'm confused with how we would know this. Like, I thought, wasn't there a rule that you would lead from the top of touching honors? So
Well, there's also a stronger rule that says don't lead, this ace is unsupported, right?
no, you wouldn't lead the ace, but why wouldn't you lead the queen?
Whoops, because we don't lead away from an unsupported ace. If we have the ace in a suit without the king against a suit contract, we never lead that suit. We never want to make the opening lead in that suit.
Oh,
And so given that East has made that one leads a diamond, the declarer passes it, we take it with a 9.
Yep.
They see on the board, dummy has 1 more left. If they get back into their hand, would they know to lead another diamond?
It gets a little more complicated. Let me turn on the annotation thing.
Okay.
So at some point in the hand, it would have been a simpler example. I should have put 3 diamonds in dummy or something. Or maybe just 2 over here. So a diamond gets led small, 9, small. So now the question is, West, who can't see this hand, does West bang down the ace or is West patient?
Well, there's only one more card in dummy that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
West would lead hard, I think, through the
Yeah,
strength
West
of the
might lead a
board.
heart through dummy's strength. Absolutely. Here's a cool one for you. If East had 2 diamonds, she'd go high-low, right?
Yeah.
but she led the 3 and then the 2 showed up. So West knows that East has an odd number.
Yeah, they're not there yet.
So it must be Deborah and her patterns. It must be 5, 2, 3, 3.
5, 3, 3, 2.
And West knows exactly how many diamonds Declarer has. If you can count Declarer's hand on defense, you're playing intermediate bridge. It's a wonderful thing. Okay, so the purpose here was, and I'll change the example for next cycle so it's better. But the idea is that if West ever leads a diamond, she gives up a trick. And you don't like giving up tricks on defense. And in fact, Hippocrates, anybody heard of Hippocrates?
Of course.
Hippocrates laid the foundation for bridge defense. Do no harm. First, do no harm. I stole that joke from Sarah Youngquist, who's a wonderful player here. And again, defenders often give away a trick. They let Declarer win a trick she couldn't create on her own. And if we actually step back from all the guidelines we looked at today, they boil down to one thing. Try to avoid giving away tricks. Now this is super hard, right? But these 4 guidelines that we talked about will get you 80% of the way to this goal. And as Patty commented earlier, passive defense is often best. Remember, she said, gee, she's got to stay away from diamonds and wait for them to come through when we're in an advantageous position.
But Phil, somebody mentioned if you're opening on the hand that you just showed us, why wouldn't you put down the queen, as especially since your partner had bid diamonds? Or maybe
partner had not bid diamonds. I think you were the diamond bidder.
Yeah, that's right.
So West was the diamond bidder.
But wouldn't you put the queen of diamonds down as touching honors?
That's a no trump, right? If it was no trump.
Yeah, if it were no trump. If you didn't have the ace, if you had Queen, Jack, 10, 9 small, you'd be thrilled to lead the queen. But I don't think I can write very well. So
in a trump contract, you don't lead the top touching honors if you've got an ace and the king's missing.
Right.
According to the guidelines, even in a
Phil
trump
said earlier was that you don't lead away from an unsupported ace, right? So that missing king is crucial.
Yeah.
That's important, Patty, because the guidelines still say that even in a suit contract, you lead the top of touching honors. So it's only the fact that it's an unsupported ace that makes this an exception.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. That was excellent. Yeah. You have an unsupported ace in the diamond suit.
Well, what would you lead as the opening lead in that?
Me, after this auction? Well, I'm not going to lead a diamond.
Right.
And I'm not going to lead a spade. I'm probably going to lead a little heart. Am I happy about it? No. But the great dealer in the sky dealt me this hand. And that's what I got.
And you say you wouldn't lead a spade because again, you're leading away from an ace?
That's correct. That's correct.
But then once dummy goes down, then you'll be pretty happy with your lead.
Yes, as the cards lie, you're very happy with your lead. So here's an interesting thing to think about. And this is hard. Suppose you lead the ace of spades. What happens? Dummy plays small, Declarer plays small, and dummies king, queen, jack are all good. Right?
Yes.
Suppose you stay away from spades. And later in the hand, Declarer leads the 6. What do we do in second seat? We play small. We don't play the 9, we don't play the 8, we just play small
In tempo.
in tempo and declare, and dummy wins the king. Okay, they got one spade trick. And now later spades get played again. And they play the queen, the jack, and we take it. And now we have the 9, 8 that are solid. So we lead the 9 and they win the queen, but they only got 2 spade tricks. If we start with the ace, they get 3 spade tricks. And it's really hard to work through the logic of these things.
Yeah.
So instead, stick with the guidelines. Don't lead away from an unsupported ace.
So Phil,
Yes,
on the diamonds, you might never get to play the ace.
it is possible, but unlikely.
Oh,
And it's worth the risk. Trust me. Karen Gibson asked a great question a few weeks ago and said, essentially, well, I feel like if I don't take my aces right away, I never get them. And I gave a semi-flippant response where I said, because, we grew up in the jungle and we evolved in the jungle and, we see a tail flipping behind a bush and we learn that means we're going to be dead. So, we remember the things that are scary. We don't remember the things that were usual and typical. And so we remember the one time in 100 that we didn't cash our ace and we lost it. I started going back through my hands to see how many times I had unsupported aces that I didn't lead.
Wait. You track all your hands?
I can go back and find them on BBO.
Okay.
If you play on BBO, they're stored. Do I keep track of them? Heck no. But I did discover before I ran out of patience that I had, in the last 6 sessions, I had 19 chances to lead an unsupported ace or to lead away from it. And of course I didn't. Do you want to know how many of those aces I never took?
Yes.
0.
wow.
So I only went back 6 sessions, but I understand the fear of maybe I'll never get my ace, but in practice, you do.
Bill, is the rule never lead away from an unsupported ace or never lead away from an ace?
Never lead away from an unsupported ace. And actually, if you have the ace king, this is against a suit. If you have the ace king, you'll play the ace. Take a look at dummy,
In a no trump, then
In
it's
no
okay.
trump, it's fine to lead away from an ace. Anybody remember why that's fine? In no trump, what's the metaphor for no trump?
Always gonna take the trick.
Race.
In no trump is a race, and we're willing to give up a trick early if we can win more later. So we've turned this into a pretty heavy session today. Hippocrates laid the foundation. Do no harm. Here's the 10%. Play second hand low in tempo, but cover an honor with an honor. And in third seat, after partner leads, you play the lowest of touching cards. So maybe partner can learn something. And you lead through dummy's strength and up to dummy's weakness. And statement 0, which is now statement 5, was stick to your opening lead agreements, including the hardest one for anybody to get comfortable with, which is don't lead against a suit, don't lead an unsupported ace, and don't lead away from an unsupported ace.
Bill, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
And third seat, if you don't have touching cards,
You do what you can to win the trick. There's a caveat there that I'm not going to talk about.
okay.
My mom used to say, clobber your partner's opening lead. And there's some subtlety to that, but in third seat, you try to win the trick, right?
So Phil, can I ask you a question?
Of
I've been
course.
noodling over for the last couple of weeks. So
Yes.
last week, the week before, we were doing, how you give signals about whether or not you want partner to stay in this hand or not.
You want partner to keep leading this suit or not?
Right.
Partner can't leave the hand.
Okay, sorry, leading the suit. So given that, that's assuming that you actually give them a good signal. I might tell them no, or yeah, go lead this. This looks really good. And that's completely the wrong thing.
That could be what you'd want to do on opening lead. Partner leads a suit. What you want to do is give partner your best assessment, and partner should take that in and then make a decision. And sometimes your assessment could be wrong, and sometimes partner's decision could be wrong. But if you try to help, partner will make the right decision more often. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank you for letting me tease you earlier, Lee.
Oh,
By the way, this whole thing reminds me of a boss I had once. I'd walk into his office and say, "Pete, can I ask you a question?" And he'd say, "You already did." And it took me a year, maybe it was 2 years, to walk in and say, "Pete, can I ask you 2 questions?" So here's how your defense is going to evolve. You're going to follow guidelines, right? The things we talked about today: stick to your opening leads. I know the unsupported ace thing is tough. Stick to your opening leads, give attitude signals to help partner, and then the stuff we talked about today: second hand low, cover an honor with an honor, lead through dummy's strength and around to dummy's weakness. And over time, this idea of don't give away tricks will start to make sense. And then you'll learn when to violate the guidelines, because there are times. And then the most interesting thing is, as your declarer play improves, so will your defense. Because you'll start to see what declarer is trying to do. And then you'll figure out how to try to counter that. That's a year away.
Phil, I have a quick question.
Of course.
When you say play the second hand low, like if you have a few different spot cards, then does it matter which one you play, or you just pick any of them? Or
short answer is play the lowest one.
Just the lowest all the time.
Longer answer is that my partner and I have some agreements about that help us do our defense better. But for now, don't worry about that. Just play the lowest one. If dummy's got the queen and the 5 and the 2, and you've got the 10 and the 7 and the 3, do you really need to stick in the 7? No, just play the 3. Just play low. So what we'll do today is we'll sit north-south, and we'll play defense against the robots. And again, the hands are already bid. The coaches will talk through the bidding, and we'll have fun. And for those who like additional information, there's some appendix pages that I am not going to talk about today.